so you can like really hear it moving around. But
Great baseball.
were you guys both watching live when Kutch hit his 300th homer? Were both of you watching the game live?
Yes.
Yes, me and
Yes, I
Alex
was
were
watching.
actually just about to walk out the door and go get McDonald's.
Dude,
and then all of a sudden, it was just like
I had just walked in.
High
From
drive.
I
lawn
just
work.
missed it too, and I was like, oh, you know, this game is pretty much over. Like, you know, I'm gonna go, you know, ride the exercise bike or something, and then I see you and Noah in the group chat, and I'm like, dude, I really
Dude,
missed that.
I was just so excited. I was so excited. No, because, okay, so, like, my grandma's TV is, like, slightly delayed. So, like, I got the notification on my phone. And then I was like, oh, wait! And I came running back into the room. And then as I came in, the ball was, like, halfway into, like, to the bleachers. It was actually awesome.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
finally.
dude, I was so pressed that I missed it. But, I mean, you guys did see, like, all the online discourse afterwards. Pretty much everyone immediately, as soon as he hit it, everyone's like, oh, Hall of Famer. Or is he a Hall
That's
of
because
Famer?
he is.
You think so, Noah?
I think he is. I do. I think he's reached enough milestones: 2,000 hits, 300 home runs, 200 stolen bases, and you know, WAR-wise, he has almost 50 WAR. So I think once he gets to that, I think he's a pretty safe Hall of Famer, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, so we mentioned it before we went on the air. So I found this tweet, and it kind of piggybacks off what Noah just said. And I'm just going to read, like, I took notes on it. So it says, the only players in MLB history with 2,000 hits, 400 doubles, 45 triples, 300 homers, 200 stolen bases, and an MVP. And the list is as followed. Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, George Brett, Andre Dawson, Reggie Jackson, Willie Mays, Frank Robinson, Larry Walker, and Andrew McCutchen. And of those, the only ones that aren't in the Hall of Fame are McCutchen and Bonds. But as we know, Bonds technically should be in there, but homie did the roid, so he's not. So I feel like that's a very valid list
You know,
to put.
it's fun.
McCutchen
It's
in
funny
there.
you mentioned that, Mike, because I had the exact same tweet pulled up as well. Shout out.
Yeah, we all saw it.
Yeah, shout out to
He's
Alex.
just reached so many career milestones. He's just really reached so many career milestones. I mean, he showed power, he's shown speed, he's just got a ton of hits and still counting. I mean, I think he's gonna get to the Hall of Fame at this point. I think once he gets to 50 is a safe mark for him. I know WAR's not at wins above replacement and everything, but I just feel like 50 is like the cutoff where you have to start saying, well, he's more of a Hall of Famer than he isn't a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get there. I do think he deserves it. Kinda. I'm not sure if he's like all the way there. I'm kind of on the fence about it. But honestly, since they let in Harold Baines, I'm kind of like, all right, well, if you're gonna let in Harold Baines, I feel like McCutchen should go in there too.
He's definitely one of those. He's
Yeah.
definitely one of those on the fence type players. But I feel like too that he's on the fence. But then we're Pirates fans, so of course we're gonna say he's leaning towards getting in there.
Well, here's the thing I
But-
think a lot of people I really like bringing up is just the character clause. The character clause, even if you don't agree or disagree with it, is a thing. And it's kept people out of the Hall of Fame before. But we've never seen it bring someone in. If there's anyone who deserves it, it's McCutchen. Nobody has ever said anything bad about McCutchen. I think he's won the Roberto Clemente Award, which is just the award for like philanthropy off the field.
2015.
And he's just been,
2015, he
What was
won that award.
2015. I mean, he's been and even in seasons that he hasn't won, he's been nominated for it. He's just such a good guy. He's such a good person. You never hear anything bad about him. Teammates have always loved him, and if there's anybody who deserves to get a boost in his Hall of Fame candidacy because of the character clause, it's McCutchen, if you ask me.
For our generation, like that, he is the face of the Pirates.
I understand. I mean,
Like-
Brandon Crawford.
He's the best
Brandon
player in the last
Crawford
20
was one of the
years.
faces of the Giants. That doesn't mean he's getting in. I've seen people debating whether Posey's getting in or not,
No, but
just because of how much shorter his career was.
he's another. Okay, yeah. I think if he
Yeah.
has a full career, he 100%.
I don't want to stray.
I mean,
I don't want to
he's
stray
another
too
one
off
that's on
topic
the
here,
fence.
but I mean, running through some of the accolades that McCutchen has, he does have the Roberto Clemente Award, like Noah mentioned, 5-time All-Star, NL MVP award in 2013, Gold Glove Award in 2012, and a 4-time Silver Slugger. So he's not really lacking there. I think MVPs is one of those awards that's pretty undervalued when it comes to like when we're actually talking about whether a guy's going to make the Hall of Fame or not. It's something I don't think a lot of people bring up when they should, especially considering, this isn't basketball. Well, the National Basketball, their Hall of Fame isn't nearly as hard to get into, but winning is definitely something that they consider. Definitely not in baseball, just because completely different sport compared to what it is. So, I don't think you can knock him for his record at all. But I think as we kind of continue on, I don't know if you guys have felt this way as well, but it seems like the Hall of Fame as a whole is kind of getting easier to get into, or at least they're easing up on stuff in the past that wouldn't happen. Like Rivera getting 100% in the past, like that wouldn't happen even though it's Rivera, just because you have that one guy in there. But it seems like as a whole, over the last decade or so, they've kind of chilled out a little bit over who they let in and how.
I guess. Wasn't it? Wait, what year was it that they didn't put anyone in? That was recent. Was that 2 years ago?
I think 2021 or 2022. It was either 2021
Yeah,
or
it was
2022.
pretty
it was
recent.
kind of recent. They're just being
It was
real
the last
stingy
year of
about
Bonds'
it.
candidacy. It was
Well,
the last
they were
year
never
of,
letting him in.
Schilling's candidacy.
They weren't
I'm
letting
pretty
Schilling
sure.
in after
Yeah,
all the
but-
stuff he's done.
Yeah, but it was the last. But they were the best players on the ballot at the time. It was and it was pretty clear they were not getting in at the time. So
It's just an unfortunate scenario. But they were just so stingy about it. I was like, come on, you can at least agree on one player. Come on. Why do we have to have a year where we just completely don't
I mean,
care
I
about
don't.
it? But
Hall of Fame votes are frustrating
That's
sometimes.
what I kind of think though is special about it to a degree, because from what I've heard from a lot of other leagues is there's a lot of frustration, especially in the NFL and the NBA, over who is being let into the Hall of Fame, because there are guys who they're like, why is he here? That's something you nearly never have with baseball, ever.
very few instances. I can agree with that. I don't.
Wait, that's what it
I
should
don't
be.
know.
That's
It's
what
not
they always
perfect,
say,
but
right?
still.
The Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. I do think McCutchen is towing that line
Yeah.
a little bit, but
Well-
I think I don't think he's first ballot. I don't think he's first ballot. Maybe 3-4 years in is when he gets in on that back end, one of his final years, and then they bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe baseball's the only one that eligibility runs out, and then you can't be on the ballot anymore. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure.
think-
I'm not sure if it's the
eligibility
only
runs out
one,
for the
but that
NFL.
is how it works. Yes,
I know it. I don't think it does for
you
NFL.
get 10 years of eligibility, right?
up to 10. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think the NFL has an eligibility. I could be wrong on that, but that's why I feel like it is way easier to get into other Hall of Fames rather than baseball. I agree with that. You mentioned it earlier, but yeah, we'll see. Andrew McCutchen, borderline player, but obviously the Pirates fans want him in there because he's a Pirate.
Oh.
And we haven't had much to celebrate since the start of 2000.
Yeah,
so
I mean, there is something I've been celebrating recently, and that's been someone else who homered in that game, and that's Joey Bart.
oh Christ.
Joey Bart. Joey Bart's been such a good pickup so far.
So anyone who's known me for a while knows, we mentioned it last show, knows how much I believe in Joey Bart and how good I think he can be, and how good I've thought he could be for a while. He went to a system in the Giants where they're not good at developing major league hitting. Just
I
plain
remember
and
seeing
simple,
that
they're
graph.
not.
You sent that graphic in our group chat that one time, where it was all the war from first round draft picks in the last 15 years or 10 years or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And it's
I think it was.
people make fun of the Pirates. They're about middle of the road, but then the Giants were the only team that had negative war.
I'm pretty sure the only first round pick from the Giants who was in the positive was Patrick Bailey, who came up like 2 years ago. And which is just an insane stat to have. But, you know, Bart, in the limited at-bats and the limited times he's had what, about 10 at-bats or so?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, about that.
In only 3 games, so.
Yeah. But he's looked good, man. And you know who hasn't looked good? It's Henry Davis.
See, he was encouraged.
It is very frustrating.
He was kind of doing okay at the start of the Philly series, then he just fizzled off in the back half. I mean, he had that game where he was 2 for 3, double, drove in 2 runs. I was like, oh yeah, he's turning the corner. He was having good at bats too. He drew like 3
the potential
walks.
when you watch him. You just see it because he's good at taking pitches, but he has struggled so much on pitches up in the zone. He gets jammed, he swings and misses a lot of pitches up in the zone, and pitchers are just taking advantage of it. It's so frustrating because he has one of the best chase rates in baseball, basically meaning he doesn't swing outside the strike zone very much, apparently, except on pitches up in the zone or up and in, and it gets jammed. I mean, I'm not expecting him to be Mike Piazza, but it's like, after has such a good spring training, I'm just expecting, like, just give me league average production and some home runs, man. Come on, please.
He's currently looking at a strikeout rate of just above 30%.
Yeah.
Oof. That's tough.
Which is the 28th worst in the league.
Well, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
or best, however you want to look at it.
Obviously, don't give up on him and panic, say, oh, he's a bust and this and that. It's like, I mean, he hasn't had a full season yet. Let's give him a little bit of slack. It's just, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's not frustrating or not upsetting to see, because I'm very upset by it, because I love Henry Davis. I want to see him do good. I love all our players, but I just want to see him do good.
I think Bart being here and contributing, I feel like that it's good for Davis, because I mean, it might light a fire under him.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
like,
Davis is such a competitive
it should,
player,
man.
so, yeah.
He's coming for your spot right now.
You can tell that Davis is a super competitive guy, so maybe it will. Maybe it'll just say like, "Hey, I gotta kick it in a high gear and start doing something."
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't done it really anything in these first few games, but maybe something later. But how do you guys feel about Bart getting some more playing time and seeing Davis on the bench a little bit more?
It definitely should be more of a split. I don't think
I agree.
Bart literally just had a great Sunday game against the Phillies. So why did Davis instantly go back into the spot after the last game Davis played? He was 0 for 4. So I don't know. I feel like Bart should have got the start today, but it'll probably be more of a split if I had to guess. I can't imagine keeping someone like that out of the lineup through 10 at bats and he's absolutely raking.
I mean, remember at the very beginning of at the end of the offseason, beginning of spring training, Grandal was supposed to be the guy that was going to like split it kind of 50-50 with Davis. And when Grandal hit the injury, it's like, all right, Davis, you got to undertake 90% of the catching duties with Jason DeLay starting on Sundays. And obviously that's a pretty big ask for someone who hadn't caught in like a half a season. So, I mean, maybe it's that. Maybe he's just putting way too much pressure on himself, which Davis is definitely, from interviews and just watching him, kind of seems like a guy that would put way too much pressure on himself to do good. So again, maybe splitting it with Joey Bart would help him and kind of give him a little bit of rest here and there and get his swing back in check.
When Bart did come in, I kind of figured that was going to be the plan because, yeah, Noah, you mentioned it. That's what we saw all spring. Was pretty much like, yeah, this looking like it's going to be a 50-50 between him and Grandal. Grandal gets hurt, then it's like, okay, you know, now what are we going to do? Davis, you essentially need to start now because you're the best catcher we have. You know, without Grandal going down, Joey probably is never even on this team.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
An insane timeline to think about. But now that he's here, you know, he had essentially a full spring training. I believe he was dealing with an injury, but he was there for most of the spring. And now that he's here, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen it sooner. It could be something where maybe they wanted to make sure he settled in more before they did give them more of a 50-50. But I think part of it is the Pirates kind of don't want Bart to succeed too much in spite of Davis' success. You know, game reps.
Davis the chance.
Game reps are so valuable. You know, where do you draw that line between, we want to put our best catcher overall hitting and defense behind the plate, which I think right now is Bart. Based off how he's been playing, it's Bart. We've seen it in the past with him where he does get in hot stretches like this and then he'll cool off, but while he's in that hot stretch, he should be playing. And then, but at the same time, Davis is the guy with more control. He's your homegrown guy. You drafted first overall. So you want to give him as much of a chance as possible, but you see where those two start to conflict a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like that with Bart, I feel like the reason he's not getting more playing time is probably just because he doesn't know his pitchers yet. I think it's a chemistry type thing, and Davis getting to work with all these starters throughout the entire spring, off season, and I feel like once Bart gets acquainted, like we've already seen, he's caught both of Mitch Keller's games, and both games he significantly did better than when he was with Davis. So I bet you he's probably going to catch every game that Mitch Keller is pitching now from now on. And I think eventually he'll come around like with the other pitchers.
They'll assign him to some more guys, and then they keep going.
I think that could be one of the main reasons.
Maybe they can do the split where it's like, every 5 days or so, say you get Keller and then you get Jones, and then we'll split Falter starts here and there, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
that.
Because,
I mean,
just to get more
Keller's looked great with Bart. So, I mean, if that means Mitch Keller pitches like an ace, then so be it. Like, sorry, Henry, it's how it has to be. That's how I look at it.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Keller, I think you can't really attribute that much of his success in his 2 games to Bart, but I mean, maybe maybe he does have something with Bart clicking.
It is an amazing coincidence that I will I will keep going.
Just play the narrative, Vol.
until it fails. That is what is happening right there. Joey Bart, Mitch Keller connection. Until it fails.
Hey, Mike, I'm just happy now to see other people believing in this man the way that I have, because essentially it was, he came up and, Giants fans were pissed he didn't hit 300 and win Rookie of the Year, so he's automatically a bust. That's just the culture that we're in nowadays. But now, you're starting to see him get that support, which is so great to see. And I think players really now, especially, that's a really nice motivator for them. So hopefully it keeps motivating him all the way into maybe taking that starting job for the Pirates. But we'll see. It's still very early. I did point out
how fan bases are. Like they just they write off players
People are just
so
reactionary.
fast.
Mike, I know I was getting a reaction out of you a little bit the other day. I sent Mike Joey Bart's 2024 stats, which keep in mind he played no games for the Giants this year. He's only had his 10 at-bats for the Pirates. And then Henry Davis side by side. Davis is hitting, I don't even know anymore, $182, if that. And then Bart's hitting 400.
Probably under that right now.
He's like, well, Bart only has 10 at-bats. And I'm like, yeah, then how does he also have more home runs and more RBIs than Davis, even though Davis had like 34 more at-bats?
See, I saw you said that. I was like, all right, you're just trying to bait
I was just trying to stir the pot. I was just trying to stir the pot a little bit.
You were trolling me, and it worked because I was full on triggered about it, and I'll give you your credit for it because I was. Like,
I saw you sent that. And I was like, oh yeah, I know what he's trying to do here.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back into it a little bit on this rotation a little bit. Noah, what's going on with Marco Gonzalez right now?
So Gonzalez was placed on the 15-day injured list Sunday afternoon with a forearm strain, and they called up Ryder Ryan to take his roster spot for now. And I don't think Ryan's here to stay because his rotation. Because I don't know, you might as well get the extra relief pitcher while you have the roster spot open. But it's so frustrating because this rotation has been so good, and Marco Gonzalez has been a reason for that. I think his last start he went 6 innings and only gave up 1 or 2 runs, and I mean, it's just. Losing a part of the rotation is frustrating, but at least the Pirates have some decent options coming up at AAA right now.
And correct me if I'm wrong on this one. So it was because from what I heard, it was a forearm strain, like you said, but because he had that nerve damage last year, isn't that like what they said? And he missed like
He
all
had
last
nerve
season.
issue.
He missed all last season, right?
He only made 10 starts last season, if I
Okay,
remember
so
correctly.
majority of the season. So, but because of that nerve damage, they're just playing it safe now because
I
start
mean
of the
that
season.
yeah, that could totally be it. This could be just be like, all right, you pitched a lot recently. We're just gonna let you take a breather before you overwork yourself because there's a long season ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my first takeaway from it. It was just like a precautionary 15-day because I was like, dude just went out and pitched 6 innings, gave up only 2 runs and pitched great. Like, and then all of a sudden he's just on the IL, like poof. It did like he didn't show any signs of a forearm strain, so I'm just
No,
curious.
his velocity
like,
wasn't
when
down
that,
or anything. He was pitching great. He was locating well. So
Yeah, like-
I mean, it could totally just be like, all right, we're
When
just gonna
was
let
that
you rest
said?
a little bit.
to staff to say that he was hurt. Like,
I mean, here's
I
another
guess-
thing to keep in mind with that: the Pirates
Probably
also,
after that game.
It could just be a strategic injury list placement because Gonzalez's next start would have been a day that we have off upcoming on Thursday. So I mean, they could just completely skip his start for now if they wanted to.
But
I don't
so
know. I feel like
end of
they'll
the
call someone
end of the
up.
day here, there's really no big concern, at least right now with him.
No, I
No.
don't think so. But I like
Beautiful.
the options they have at AAA.
Are we going to
Dude.
talk about this every show until it happens?
Yes.
I feel like we're going to. All right, Farm Boy, let's get into Paul.
Paul Skeens, who doesn't love him? Dude, Skeens has been so fun to watch. He has 9 1/3 innings and 19 strikeouts and only 1 walk.
It's actually so crazy to think about. 19 Ks in 9 innings, bro.
He's
His
made
command has been so impressive. Dude.
He's made 28 out.
Oh
There have
my
been
God.
He's made 28 outs and 19 have been strikeouts. But
That's just
unfortunately,
crazy.
it doesn't sound like he's going to be the guy that's going to get called up.
Yeah,
I mean,
not
look,
anytime soon.
okay,
I mean,
I
we
know
are
people are
we are
upset.
past the day now. We get that they get that extra year control.
I know people
So
are
now
upset
everyone's
that he's not
like,
being called up, but
"Where is he?"
last time he threw 55 pitches, and that's the most he's ever thrown in a single game yet as a professional. Let's.
I mean, Pirates fans are just
Pump
a
the
little
brakes
triggered
and
right now
take a deep
because
breath.
they're just a little triggered right now because the Orioles pulled the trigger and called up Jackson Holiday.
See, it's
They're like,
it's
"Oh,
different
his
with
service
a
time
position
hit."
player than a pitcher. It's different with a
No,
position,
I know.
a second baseman, and a starting pitcher who throws 101 miles an hour normally.
No, trust me, no, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I don't think it should be Paul Skeens either, but like, fans are just gonna overreact and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Jackson Holiday's up
Yeah,
now.
fans
His
are just
service time.
reactive.
They got his contract." So
Well,
why?
with Skeens presumably staying down there for who even knows? 2 weeks, could be 2 months. Honestly, we're not really
Dude, I
sure
just
at
want to
this
see
rate.
him go through an order twice.
I do too.
Yeah, me
Please.
too.
One
I
Just
time
let him
before a
work. Just let him
call-up.
throw 80 pitches. That's all I'm asking.
like, yeah, don't get any of us wrong. I feel like all of us here believe he is like an MLB ready in terms of talent. It's just stamina wise, you need someone in the rotation that can go 5 or so, just so your bullpen isn't cooked for the rest of the series. Essentially, I mean, even though the rotation has been looking great, don't get me wrong, but every once in a while, there are guys where I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to expect from you today. It doesn't always seem like I have faith that we're gonna get a consistent 5 out of everyone, because I don't know if maybe I have some, I turn on the game and I'm getting flashbacks from Falter's start in Miami. I don't know, but you want to have at least that chance, not saying he's going to show up and pitch 7 innings in the big leagues, but you at least want to have, no, he has the capability to do so professionally,
I think I saw
which
a
he
stat
does. He
where
just
it's
needs to
like-
build it up.
I saw a stat where like the only Pirates starting pitcher or whatever, I want to say is Mitch Keller, who's on like a 35 game streak of pitching into the 5th inning, or whatever like that. It's a 35 game streak. So it's
Ooh.
like
The last one to do was AJ Burnett.
Yeah,
Damn, that's a throwback.
So he's literally
I
like
love
the
AJ
only
Burnett.
dude in the rotation that I trust to like go a solid 5. realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, Martin Perez has shown that he can do it this year, but like,
Gonzalez too when he's healthy.
Yeah, well, everyone's capable. It's just how much can you consistently rely on that?
consistently believe.
Especially
yeah.
especially if you're going to call up a guy who can only go 3
Well-
4 innings for now.
I think too, it just worries you because like you're gonna have good hitting teams, and we have 3 starters in the rotation that are throwing 90 to 92 mile an hour fastballs. So eventually, good teams are gonna figure that out, especially when they're 3 in a
No,
row.
we're-
It's back
we're
to back to
elite.
back in the rotation. So
No,
it's
the
like,
Pirates are elite at finesse pitchers.
It should, yeah, no, Mike, I'm with you. It's just one of those things where you never really know, so you want to play it. You want to play it safe as long as you can. But we're starting to get it to know a little bit more about David Bednar this year because he's been looking much better.
that was an encouraging outing from him against the Phillies.
Absolutely.
Coming in, going 1-2-3, getting a save.
Needed
I think
it.
it
Needed
quieted a lot of people because I don't know. So many people have just been on him. I mean, he had
I understand
39
why they're
saves last
frustrated,
year with a
but
2 ERA. Like he'll figure it out. He was elite.
It's early. We're in week 3 of the season. Like, let's take a deep breath. I mean, obviously, it was not fun seeing him throw a curveball behind Javier Baez. Well, it's like, all right, he's gonna settle down. Let him take a deep breath, and he'll be back. It's gonna be okay. We're talking about a 2-time All-Star who's had a great 3-year stretch with the Pirates.
I
think he's
I was
gonna-
kind of
in that
surprised
last outing, he was
Javier
great.
didn't swing at that one. Anyone else?
Yeah. Nah.
But I mean, the last time his command was just all over the place during that outing against the Tigers. But the game against the Phillies, he was locating really well. He was throwing the fastball up in the zone really well. He was hitting his spots, and he was throwing the curveball where he wanted it, and not behind batters or in the dirt
Yeah.
all the way to the backstop.
Yeah. I mean, I understand like a lot of the flack he got, especially early in the season when most of the other players were kind of hitting on all cylinders. There's certain issues there, but like everyone for the most part looked pretty good. And then, you get to the 9th inning and it's like, dude, a lot of people will just think like, dude, you got to get 3 outs. Like being a closer is kind of like being a kicker in football, where it's just like, just go out there. It is. It's very similar where it's just like, just go out there, just kick, get us 3 points. Or just go out there, go get us 3 outs. It's a lot more, you watch a starter, you watch a workhorse like Bailey Falter go out there and throw 6 shutout innings. And then you see Bednar come out, if he blows the save, it's like, dude, really? Like we just saw the starting pitcher do all that and you can't get us... You can't get us 3 outs against
Martin Perez.
Yeah, dude,
against
you
the
went
bottom
8
of the
innings.
order.
8 innings, 1
and
run, no
you're-
walks.
It's one of those things where unless you've had a super long career, like a very, very long successful career as a closer, your reputation doesn't matter. Nobody cares. You could be a great kicker. You start missing game-winning kicks, everyone will want you off the team in 2 weeks. You could be a
Bro,
great
that is-
closer.
Straight facts.
You could be
Probably
a great
the hardest
closer.
job in both sports, being a closer and a
And
kicker.
it's yeah,
No remorse.
Everyone will be calling for either someone to replace you to be sent to AAA, you to be checked for injury
Trade
if
'em.
you're not perfect.
People be saying trade him. Oh, we should have traded David Bednar at the deadline last year. No, we should not.
Yeah,
No,
It's just the nature of the gig. Noah, did you notice anything specifically that changed with him other than just some better command?
I mean, really, that was it. I think it's just he's been struggling with command. He's still rusty from spring training, and
Especially on those breaking pitches.
Yeah, I mean the breaking stuff was just awful in that game against the Tigers. He was hanging stuff. I mean, he threw it, like I said, behind Baez. It was just all over the place, and it was just way better. He was hitting his spots and hitting the zone where he wanted.
I think it's more upsetting in that Tigers game because
Oh yeah, that was
he
such
blew
a
it,
deflating loss.
but like it takes away from Martin Perez going 8 innings, giving up 1 run, and had 7 Ks,
And no
then
walks.
not even just that, it completely takes away Edward Olivares going yard twice.
Oh yeah,
No one remembers that. All they remember is David Bednar giving up 4 runs in the 9th. So it's
Losses
like, oh
that are
great,
hard.
not a good memory of the baseball game.
Yeah.
especially on our home field. Like that's just a tough pill to swallow. So
Yeah, but it
I
has
mean-
been a little bit of yin and yang in the bullpen. You know, you see a good outing from Bednar, and then all of a sudden Chapman starts falling off a little bit. What's going on with Chapman right now?
Last two outings, he's just not had it. I mean, Phillies, he gave up the lead, and in the Mets game, I mean, to be fair, the Mets game, there were some pretty bad calls in there, and he got ejected. If you didn't see that, it was the first ejection of his
I
career
didn't.
I
He
saw.
did.
Wait. Today?
Wait, what?
Yeah, he got
Honestly,
ejected.
That's
He got ejected.
that's the most surprising thing I've heard in a while. He hasn't been ejected before ever.
I saw a tweet that said that he has never been ejected before. It was the first ejection of his career. First
Good for
ejection.
you, Chapman.
Dude, here the
Good for you.
frustrating thing. He didn't
Honestly.
even he like barely said anything to the umpire. He like just may have he couldn't have said more than a sentence or two to the umpire. And he even had his glove covering his mouth. And it's like, dude, like what could he have possibly have said to
Dude, that's
the
how you know it
ejection?
was some messed up
And
something
then-
messed up that you had
But
to
here's
cover it
another
up.
thing. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Like the batter before, Francisco Alvarez completely blew up at the umpire, was yelling at him and stuff. While
Oh, and it was a strike.
Yeah, I mean he got a bad call and then started complaining about another strike. But he started yelling at John at the umpire while he was walking back to the dugout, didn't get ejected. Chapman must say like two sentences to the umpire under his glove, and he gets ejected. So I have no idea what he possibly could have
Dude,
said.
I didn't
but
even see that.
yeah,
I didn't know he got ejected.
I got so frustrated at the game, I turned it off, and I was just looking at the game day, the pitch by pitch, and you know how it comes like it said Aroldis Chapman ejected. I was like, oh okay. I was like, what could he like? Did he like just completely blow up at the umpire for like a horrible call? No, he like said something under his breath, and then he got ejected.
No, are you doing all right?
I'm doing okay. I'm very
I feel like
frustrated, but
I feel like you've been frustrated with
I'm extremely
a,
frustrated.
with a lot of things
I'm just saying
that have been going on lately.
the Pirate. I mean, all the losses the Pirates have had this year are just winnable games, and it's just frustrating.
Dude, literally, I was just saying that earlier today. I was like, I feel like all the games we've lost, we just had like that one inning where we just blew up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, we were winning
think the
3-0, and then we just
most
gave it right
runs-
back away today. We gave
The
up
most
3.
runs we've lost by are 4, and that was the game. That was the game against the Phillies, and even then, that was winnable if the bats could just do something.
Yeah, because that was just a late inning meltdown too. That was like a late game where we gave up the big lead there. But
That's the only loss so far that's not been a safe situation. Honestly,
Noah, you know what would help? Scoring a few more runs would be getting the bat off of the shoulders when you're
Jesus
looking at a
Christ,
fastball
yes.
coming right down the pipe.
Oh, dude, this is frustrating me beyond belief, dude.
We need to get into this one a little bit.
Dude, we have
Come
okay.
on.
So Baseball Savant measures like basically good pitches to swing at. They call it meatball percentage, and the Pirates have the 7th highest in baseball, but they also have like they have the 15th highest meatball swing rate. Basically means they're about average at swinging at pitches down the middle, even though they're one of the teams that see the most pitches down the middle. And it's so frustrating, dude. This is so frustrating because you watch this team and it's like, all right, they're taking pitches, they have the third on average, they take the 3rd most pitches per plate appearance, and they have the most counts where they're either full counts or they're ahead of the count. And it's so frustrating, dude. I've never seen a team that just watches pitches like this team. And that's not a good thing. It's just so many called strikeouts. Right now we have going into today's game, I don't know how many called strikeouts there were, but going into today's game against the Mets, the game 1, we had the 3rd highest called strikeout rate and the 2nd most called strikeouts. Dude, I don't know. It's just a frustrating way to play.
I mean, we have a total of it was 160 coming into today, and we struck out 10 times again. 10 strikeouts. Now it's tied for 3rd most. We trail
Here's
only
the
the
thing,
Red
it
Sox
feels
and
like-
Dodgers, which is 171 and 172. So we're pretty soon going to be the strikeout kings of the MLB. We don't figure it out.
The thing is, it's like we went to this game against the Mets, game 1. It was like, all right, they're gonna swing at everything. We're not gonna strike out watching. We're gonna strike out swinging, but we're gonna swing at things 2 feet outside the zone. It's like, all right. It's like
Do you
there
do
has
you
to be a
think
middle
part of
ground
this?
here where we're just not striking out this much and we're actually swinging at good pitches.
Do you think part of this is they're just trying to figure out kind of their organizational approach? Like, do you think Haynes is trying to figure it out still a little bit, at least this year, in terms of what they're telling the guys out day by day?
Dude, Andy
He
Haynes
should not be
turned-
figuring out still. He's been with the team for almost 5 years now. Like,
Andy
dude, you
Haynes
should
has
know what
turned-
you're
It
telling
It
your
is
hitters.
it is also April 15th.
Yeah. I mean, it's
We are
still
in
the whole
frustrating
off
to
season's
watch.
for.
the fourth week of the season.
It's
still-
what the off
I
season's
don't
for.
care
Tell
if it's
your
the
dudes
fourth
what to
week.
do at the plate.
I know it's the fourth week of the season, but I'm just still frustrated, okay? I can still be frustrated.
No, what I'm saying is you should be frustrated since it is the fourth week of the season, and this rate's been fluctuating at least a little bit, and it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing,
Dude.
guys?
Andy Haynes has become like the Pirates version of Matt Candle, where everyone just wants his head.
Do you guys think there is a chance he gets let go this year? I mean, I think as long
Oh,
as
God,
you're
please.
winning, I don't see it happening in the middle of the season.
No,
by
especially,
any
I
means.
mean, the Pirates haven't lost a series yet, and we're one of like 3 teams that haven't. So I mean, there's no reason to hit the panic button. But like,
Yeah, I mean it's
'Cause we're only
a
4 weeks
growing
in.
concern.
This is
But-
this is how I see. This is the only way I potentially see Andy Haynes getting let go middle season, and God forbid we don't have this happen this season because I might not be able to handle it mentally. But the only way we might see Andy Haynes get let go is if we have a stretch like we did last year in June where we had like 10 straight losses and then just couldn't get out of that rut for like another month. I think that's the only way Andy Haynes gets let go mid-season. At the end of the season, they might reevaluate what the coaching staff has done, but middle season, that's the only way I see it happen. But I'm going to hope very much because I will not be able to handle it.
I mean that doesn't happen too often. You see a guy get let go mid-season. Who was the last guy to get let go mid-season? Didn't the Yankees fire their hitting coach?
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Last
wasn't
year
it
in the
like
middle of the
someone?
year.
I was gonna say it was last
It was
year or
pretty,
year before.
yeah,
that.
but
It
it
was
was like
pretty
in
recent.
September. It was almost at the end of the season, if I remember correctly.
Bro, you had to be pretty bad to not finish the season and
That
getting
was-
let go in September.
That was the first mid-season change at coach that Cashman made in his tenure.
Oh, I
Wow.
thought you were gonna say. I thought you were gonna say like.
I thought
first
you were gonna
time
say,
in,
like, of all
how
time.
long. Yeah, I was like,
Well,
oh, really?
dude, think about how long Cashman's been there, man. That's like the first time in forever.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's just like it's such a long season. I feel like they give you such a long leash because of it. So it's just kind of hard. I don't know. Pirates have just been bad for this whole stretch of his career as the Pirates hitting coach, and it's just frustrating. So I feel like his leash should not be. It should be pretty short at this point. But they are 11-6.
Again,
so...
I think this is like kind of the test year. This is kind of the test year for everybody.
Yeah, I would agree so. Especially because like I feel like this is the core team that we've been saying is gonna get us over the
If we're
hump.
gonna win, this is gonna be the core.
So if this team is struggling, then oh boy.
It definitely does say something considering how many guys we've heard about within the organization that actively seek outside help for their hitting.
Key Brian Hayes immediately gets better.
Even though Neil Cruz did a couple years ago, I remember he went out to another coach.
Well,
Yeah,
Cruz needs to
Which
do it again.
it's definitely common. And may not common, but it happens across the league where you'll hear about guys. A lot of the time it isn't public, but you'll hear about guys who do go see hitting coaches that are external from the organization. Maybe it's a personal guy they've been working with a long time. Maybe some guy they knew from college, whoever it may be. But actively seeking out a guy that was in the minors of the organization you're still with, that's a little interesting.
Especially the AA coach wasn't even AAA. It was AA hitting coach. So like, and they let him go because of it. That was literally the reason. I know it. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Oh no, I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you.
100%
totally
fired
see
him
it.
because they didn't want because Derek Shelton's buddy with Mr. Haynes. The absolute.
Again, I think
Bomb.
I think the coaching staff, most of the front office, it's kind of, this is like all right, you got to start doing stuff now. And if you don't start doing stuff, heads are going to roll. I don't really see it as any other way
Dude,
right
as
now.
we mentioned it too, you're saying they go see different hitting coaches. O'Neal Cruz absolutely needs to do something. His brother he has 29 Ks and 7 strikouts in like his last 10 at bats.
Cruz is a slow
Oh,
starter.
let's pull up the chart again.
Cruz is typically a slow starter, but again, I'm frustrated by
Dude,
other things
his
right
game
now.
Okay.
against the
One of
Phillies,
them
bro, is
screwed
just
him up.
absolutely atrocious. 4 Ks and 5 at bats, and then he had a fielding error. Like, brother needs to take a chill pill and just sit down and relax.
We didn't really know, like this is the first year we're really seeing O'Neal Cruz, I feel like, in full, right? So, we don't really know what a proper strikeout rate for him looks like, right? But I don't think any of us expected him to be where he's currently at, where he's about 3% lower than Joey Gallo on the strikeout rate chart for 2024.
It's like almost 40% right now.
He's at
dude.
he's at
he needs to get down.
38.2% currently
Down.
after tonight's game against the Mets.
Oof.
Dude, he
Mike,
literally
I see
really all I
you
can
stroking
say.
your chin there. What you thinking?
he has the second most strikeouts in the MLB already. He's right behind Nolan Jones, who has 30. I think the next closest Pirate, I believe, is Michael Taylor, and he has 18. He has 11 more Ks than the next closest Pirate. And it's just like, it's frustrating too because of how hot of a
O'Neal
start
Cruz was
he
never
had.
going to be. O'Neal Cruz was never going to be Tony Gwynn, where he just like avoided.
No,
strikeouts.
Hey,
but
there's a
38%
long
strikeout
line
rate.
between Tony Gwynn and a
I know.
38% strikeout percentage.
Exactly.
I'm saying,
Exactly.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is that, like, nobody expected him to obviously be that way, but it's like, dude, you can't, like, this has to get under control a little bit. Get it under 35%. Like, dude, like, and he showed improvement in a couple years ago in the second half of 2022 when he was healthy. So, again, maybe it's just him trying to get back in the swing of a full regular season. He typically has been a slow starter in the minor leagues with strikeouts, especially. So maybe he's just still trying to get adapted to that. I mean, like you said, it's his first full major league season where he started the year in April and could stay healthy for the whole year and play 140 or so games. But I mean, he has to change his
I think so
approach.
too.
He has to
I
do
think another
something.
thing that contributes to this is that he has faced an ungodly amount of lefties to start the season.
That
too.
is true.
So
Good point.
That and umpires like hate his strike zone apparently. I've seen so many called strikes on him that are like 3 inches outside the strike zone. It's frustrating.
not
It's already
just
been
wanna-
a long year for
not to
umpires, hasn't
not
it?
to stray away. I just want to say rest in peace to Wyatt Langford's at bat with Angel Hernandez the other day, dude. Holy crap.
Oh my God! Did you guys
Dude,
see
there
that
was like
too?
3 pitches, and the closest one to
Dude.
the strike zone was 6 inches
They
off
said it
the
was
dish.
He did it to Altuve like an inning later too.
They said it was the furthest called strike outside the strike zone in like the pitch tracking area.
Did
or
you see
something
the
like
one
that.
today?
Like, oh my god.
The one today, it was like right down the middle, but because the dude was stealing
Rowanzi.
seconds, he didn't call it. Or it would have been a
There was
strike him
one
out,
with-
throw him out.
There was one with Rowanzi that was a slider down the middle, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like to the point where I was ready to tear my hair out at that game, and I was like, are you serious? Like, can you just not screw us over more?
No,
Umpires,
like,
man.
O'Neal Cruz, like I said, the lefties, I feel like that plays a big part. So, I mean, you can look at the Ks. Yeah, that's an alarming rate, but I feel like that has a lot to do with it. So, I mean,
Yeah.
once he starts facing more righties, I think he'll start getting it
And
down.
once he gets more adapt to lefties in the major leagues.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I saw a thing that said, like, I think out of all the hitters, O'Neal Cruz has been in the most 2-strike counts in baseball. I don't remember where I saw it, but I read it, and I was like, that
At
doesn't
least he's
surprise
working
me.
the count then.
No, yeah, no. I think a
I
lot
guess
of
the
Pirates
Pirates
are doing
work
that. It's not even
counts.
just Cruz.
We just need to do something else.
It's not even just Cruz though. Like, I feel like the Pirates are just being so patient this year. So I feel like we've seen it's a common theme
being
of like
overly
driving up
patient.
pitch counts, and I very much appreciate it.
I said earlier that they have like the third most pitches per plate appearance in baseball right now.
Yeah, it's just like
I believe it.
we just watch one too many.
We're getting patient to the point where we're just watching stuff.
Yeah, we watch one too many, and then it goes right down the middle, and then we don't swing. And
Yeah.
Pirates fans are going insane.
I mean, understandably so. Let's switch it up to a little bit more of a lighter hearted story. You'll see what's going on with Ipe.
Dude, I don't see how people can still say that, oh yeah, it's a cover up for Ohtani. It's like, dude, there's no way this man hasn't been like just. It's so insane. It's like there's no way this is a cover up because there's no way somebody would have made this up.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that notification come in from Jeff, and it was like, oh yeah, we actually found out, the whatever the original number was it like 2 million or so? No, that's not even true. He stole,
yeah, I think it was like 4.1 or something.
16 million from him is what prosecutors are currently alleging is a $16 million theft straight from Ohtani's account.
The saying reality is stranger than fiction. This is one of those cases because some of the stuff in it's like, how did this happen? Like, what's going on? I don't see how people can still say there's a cover up when so much insane stuff has come from this investigation.
It is just a very weird story from how it started.
Bets. He placed 19,000 bets. Like,
dude, they said it was about 25 bets a day.
That is insane, dude. Like,
what's the funniest part is that's not even the most insane thing to come out of this story.
What would that be then, Noah?
That apparently, according to prosecutors, that Ipepe would impersonate Ohtani to get money from Ohtani's bank account.
Dude, can you just picture that? Walking up to, he probably walked up to the bank wearing his Shohei jersey.
Because there's no way he could have done that in person.
Ohtani
obviously.
is like a public figure. Do you guys think like he had like an impression that he would give? You think he's standing in the mirror in the morning mastering his Ohtani impression?
You imagine him walking up to the bank, like the teller at the bank.
There's
full
Dodgers
way he was
able to pull this off in person.
In full uniform, he walks up there. Slow on Shohei Ohtani.
Full uniform at the teller.
The same height. He's like half a foot taller than him. Ohtani's like a half a foot taller.
And Ohtani's just jacked.
You guys think that could be like part of how he found out? So he goes up to the teller in full uniform, and then after the teller looks him up, and we're like, "Wait, that doesn't look like the guy that just came in here at all." Like who did we just give $50,000 to?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like Ohtani, no, it was probably over the phone, and with given like how much access it looked like he had to Ohtani's stuff, it's like he probably had access to his social security number, and he really banked over the phone. I mean, you just need like the account number for the most part. That's really all you need. Date of birth, like he has all that information. Dude, I'm sure.
I just find it so crazy.
So that's probably how it happened.
Social security, like, dude, he gave him his social security. Like, dude, I'm friends with all of you, but I would never do that.
You're not supposed to give out. That's like the first thing you're told not to give out.
Well, generally, it's because interpreters, when they come to the U.S., they have to help with essentially like everything.
You know what? Like, I've never thought of that. I guess that's a very valid point.
True.
They do.
I guess you can't communicate well.
Yeah. I forget who it was on Twitter. There's a former MLB interpreter on Twitter who essentially, he was kind of explaining. He had this giant thread, and he was saying how, like, like when the players from, he was a Korean translator, and when players from Korea would come over, he would essentially do almost everything for them. Other than play, because they didn't know, are they going to fill out the forms in English? No. Which, like, makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It just, not all interpreters are raging gambling addicts. So, I guess we don't cross this path. Not all interpreters
are the Hamburglar like Ipe.
No.
Immaculate Draft's got a great sense of humor.
We need to meet that guy who runs the Immaculate Draft page.
You can get Ipe, you can get Ipe, you can get Foolish Baseball, you can get Jolly Olive, and you can get Marcell Ozuna
No,
with his
you can,
mugshot.
Ozuna from the Braves is who you can get.
Ozuna from the Braves.
I know this is kind of random. This is so off the wall, but I don't know what made me think about it. Did anyone else see that Jared Jones was on John Boy today, or was like at
I
their
did.
studio with them?
Oh, really?
did.
Oh, well, they
Dude,
are
swear
in
to
New
God,
York, so
I
that
saw it
makes
on
sense.
Twitter. I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, bro, this is the most random thing of all time. Like, I was not expecting to go on my feed and see that Jared Jones was with John Boy. Like, what? I'm
Did he
kind of
look
curious
as
to
Yeah,
see how
also
did
that.
he
random.
did he look as beautiful in those videos as he does everywhere else?
Yes, of course.
What a stud!
He is a Pirates legend already.
What a guy.
Dude,
Okay, hold
I'm
on,
so
hold on.
excited.
Let's get back. Let's close out on Ipe here for a second.
My
we went
bad.
from Ipe to Ozuna from the Braves to Jared Jones in the matter of like 30 seconds. Hold on. So, Ipe he did surrender himself into law enforcement on Friday, and he got released shortly after for a $25,000 bond, which seems strangely low. I feel
Yeah,
like
dude,
but
what?
yeah.
Especially for the amount of money
released,
that was stolen.
um,
What?
The judge did order him to undergo gambling addiction treatment, which hopefully that goes well for him, and
Just go
that
to rehab.
sounds like it's very much needed. So, best for him there. But according to so prosecutors found no evidence that Otani was involved in or aware of his gambling or the money that was stolen, and the authorities say that he is cooperating fully. So it seems like Otani is going to be getting fully back to business. I'm sure he's going to be getting pestered with questions about this all year, which, I mean, that's just how it's going to be, especially with Los Angeles media in particular. But currently the investigation is still ongoing, and we have yet to hear about any charges. I haven't seen anything about a trial going on at all either. But
Bro, I just don't understand how
hear something
Otani's so
within the next
calm
few
about
weeks.
it. How is he so calm about it? Like, I'd be enraged.
He's just that guy, man.
Like, dude, $16
I mean,
million
think about how
I'd be
much money
enraged.
he's gonna have in about
Okay, but
25 years when the
To be
Dodgers
fair,
finally pay him.
how much do you think is it that he's hiding behind? Like, he's obviously frustrated, but he's obviously not going to like blow up on camera. about
I
it.
could never picture Otani blowing up on camera, like ever.
Me neither.
Dude, I want to see the day he gets ejected and like just loses it on an umpire. Because like it's so rare. But like
Dude,
He's
if I were an
just such a-
umpire, I'd
he's
look
such a
be
likable
scared. You know how
person.
big that guy is, man. Imagine Otani blowing
No,
up
he's-
at you. You're
What
like
if Otani's
looking up
just
at the
What
sky.
if Otani is secretly just? What if Otani's just secretly like a super rageful person, and like the first time he gets ejected, it's just gonna go off.
we need Angel Hernandez at the next Dodgers series. We need it. That's the only way we're gonna get Otani to lose his shit on a
Well,
on
we'll
a
have
fire.
to, we'll have to watch the umpire schedule and see when Angels heading into Los Angeles. But all right, what
Please
do,
keep him out of
fellas,
Pittsburgh.
fellas, what are we looking like? What are we looking at for the Pirates next couple series coming up?
Well, we have finished with the Mets. Hopefully, better ending than what happened today because that was just frustrating. But
Hey, Double
Jared
J is coming at it tomorrow.
oh yes, please, we need it.
Mike, how have we not made that connection yet to call him Double J like Jeff Jarrett?
You know what? I might just start doing that now because you said that. Double J. Oh,
And
dude.
then after Jared Jones, we have the real ace of the staff.
You know what,
Bailey
Noah?
Falter.
Noah, I'm gonna be at your meeting on Wednesday. I will
We
be
are
at
all
the Bailey
going to the
Falter fan
stand
club
meeting.
meeting.
Let's
I now put that in the chat every Bailey Falter bump day.
I will be there. I will be in.
Bro, whatever they
attendance.
said to that brother in between the first inning of the Marlins game to now, dude, I want to know because he went 15 innings, giving up 2 runs since
He got
then.
booed and realized he got to lock in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Christ.
So Mets Tuesday, Wednesday. Pirates still looking to avoid their first series loss, which only way to do that would be winning tomorrow and Wednesday. And then this weekend they got Boston, who their bid day today they got shut out by the Tigers. So But,
and we start off that series with that is where Marco Gonzalez would pitch. So we're gonna have a lot of question marks. I know Derek Shelton did say he's like, we're just gonna get through the Mets series and then we'll go from there with another starter, whether it's gonna be a traditional
Paul?
start or I mean, we do
It's
have
not
Luis
gonna be Paul.
Ortiz. I mean, we
It's
have
not
Luis
gonna be Paul.
Ortiz, Roansy Contreras, Josh Fleming. They could give you multiple
Quinn.
innings. They could go that way.
Priesters pitched well at AAA so
Could
far.
be.
I feel
Priester.
like it's going to be Priester. That's my guess.
I do too. I feel like
it's gonna-
he's pitched good enough to where I feel like he should just get a random spot start. I feel like he earned it. So we'll see. I mean, it'll be interesting these next couple days for the Pirates, but here we are.
I believe in Quinn Priester.
And we're looking at right now sitting at the top of the division with Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 10-5. Pirates currently 11-6.
Did you know this? If the season ended today, there would be 3 NL Central teams in the playoffs.
Stop the count.
Stop the count. The NL Central's taking over. Oh,
You know,
man.
It's funny because if you said that going into the season that it would end up that way, everyone would no.
Yeah, like
No-
4 weeks in,
no
the
one
NL
would agree
Central's
with
been one
you.
of the best. We've been one of
I
the
mean,
best divisions in baseball.
I'm telling you, I still don't think it's gonna finish that way.
Oh, I don't either, but I just think it's
No,
funny.
not even.
I just think it's funny.
It's funny that it's
Fun
funny
to
for, like,
look
the
at
first-
now.
Well, it's like the
three
A's.
and a half weeks of
The
season.
A's they won 3 of their last 5 series, and they haven't done that since like 2021. I saw.
Dude, they're gonna pull a full major league where they just win the division and make the team stay in Oakland.
Dude, that would be an amazing storyline. You imagine they just go on a miraculous run in the playoffs. They're
Hey,
like, no
bro.
psych,
It
cancel the
it'd
Vegas
literally be the
plan.
plot of
This
Major
is-
League with Charlie
this is
Sheen.
this ain't no Disney movie, bro. The A's are still moving to Sacramento.
It's okay. Trade us Esteury Ruiz, please.
Give us Esteury Ruiz and Brent Rooker.
Mason
They
Miller.
don't like Oakland
Mason
anyway.
Miller, man, he's been looking great. All right, anything else you fellas have before we wrap up here today?
Please swing more often.
Swing the bat.
Hey, that is probably the main takeaway from this episode, isn't it?
Please swing out pitches in the strike zone more often.
By far the
That's all I
biggest
want.
frustration of the young season for the Buccos. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's all I got.
No, it'll be all good.
That's
We'll
all
be
I
fine.
got.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right. All right. Well,
It's all good.
yeah. Everyone, I'll see you next week. I'm not sure how to wrap this episode up. Somebody play the music.
On radio or TV or down at the park. We raised a Jolly Roger. It's been many years in coming. Let's keep that buck rolling.